Anytime I have to tell people the band name at 43 years old, I cringe. And anytime, like, honestly, man, like, and this is, I don't want to offend anybody who loves the band name, and because
Of course.
obviously a band name just becomes like, it's, you know what I mean? Like, it's like it ceases to be those words and it starts to just become.
100%. 100%.
But I honest, like, nuts as a word for fucking, like, as a slang word for testicles is like one of my least favorite words ever.
JJ, wonderful to see you. Thank you so much for your time. These are always annoyingly hectic times, the weeks before a new release. There's always a lot of buzz around a new DEEZ Nuts record. How are you doing today?
I'm doing fantastic, man. Thank you for your time, first and foremost. And yeah, there's a lot going on around this time, but it's all good stuff. It's like positive stuff. So it's like the kind of busy you want to be. So yeah.
There you go. There you go. Now, the album comes out on October 31st, which up here in North America, it means that, you know, all the kids are dressed up like something, sometimes scary, not necessarily anymore, playing trick or treat. Not too sure how much of a tradition that has been forced upon you these days where you're at, but what are you going to be up to? Because the band is not yet playing a show as far as I know.
No time off on release day. I'll just be watching the numbers, man. I'm a big like numbers guy, and I love, like, one of my favorite things is release day and watching the streams. And it's like I get like a lot of joy out of releasing music into the world and like being able to see real time how many people are engaging with it. So I'll be doing that, but the band's all over the world. So I know that RealBad, our guitarist, loves Halloween, and his kids love Halloween. His son and his family loves Halloween, so they'll probably be dressing up and partying and doing it right. I'll just be nerding out and watching the numbers.
So you'll be like behind 5 computers and 3 cell phones trying to like answer every message and check everything out. I mean, it is, for a numbers guy, that's fun, but people don't always realize that album release day these days doesn't necessarily mean it's a big party. It means people sitting behind screens and keyboards.
Yeah, engagement is like very different now than what it would have, like you said. A party is a prime example. Like, release night would have been like playing the album live at a club somewhere for either your close friends or, you know, like some lucky fans to come and experience the album, like, you know, on release day. But now it's more about like watching the numbers, engaging with people online, you know, seeing the reviews and whatnot. But yeah, I enjoy it. I enjoyed it then. I enjoy it now. You got to move with the times, and yeah, that's what it is.
There you go. There you go. Well, move with the times. Maybe that's a segue that I'll use to how the band has moved over time as well, the journey of the band, if you will. Like, this album is a bit of I mean, history will tell if this is a turning point or the start of a new era and all that kind of stuff, right? But I mean, the band is always known for, you know, the energy, the chaos at times, the chaos as a positive thing, I would say. Saudade feels like I said, a bit like a turning point, more of an emotional album, maybe more of, you know, I don't know if reckoning is too much of a serious word, but a little bit of a shift away maybe from the party hard. I mean, you're just talking about like, well, back in the day we would party hard when an album comes out. Now I'm more, I mean, you probably were a numbers guy in those days already as well. But this move from, you know, party to a little bit more introspective and maybe human is the right way of saying it. Do you've been nodding as I've been saying this? This is something that you also feel, or was this more than something that came out and feel? This was maybe something that you just wanted to do from the get-go of this album?
No, I think like we're big on not having any expectation for our sound, our direction. I definitely don't go like I know I'm going to get things off my chest when I go into the studio. Like, it's a cathartic place. You know, I use it for therapeutic means, but usually in the past, like, I think all of our albums speak to the time that they were written and how that coincides with that time in our lives. And as much as we are like a party band or have been a party band and are a party band, whatever the fuck, but like, whatever I was writing at those moments in time was true to how we were living. And
Right.
if at the times where we were writing our sort of hedonistic party albums, if I'd been trying to write like introspective shit or about politics or about this or about that, it would have come off fucking fugazi. It would have come off fucking like trite and fucking just, it wouldn't have been authentic because that's not
Right.
what I was about. It's not where my head was at. And just like right now, while I'm fucking, the better part of 2 years sober and like focused on this thing and that thing and just going through an awful lot of personal loss and grief and all this shit, if I was like, hey, party album, it wouldn't have felt real.
Right.
So, and I think if you kind of go back over our last couple of albums, you'll notice that like they slowly started turning this way. And it was not like by design or with intention. It was like, the hedonistic songs started to become few and far between, and the ones that were there started to become cautionary tales of like how things can go wrong and drinking until slip and slope and blah blah blah, and then there'd be the party song there, but it was also like, but here's the flip side of that would be the next song, you know what I mean? So like, but now we're just at the point where like the party songs didn't feel necessary, and I like to be true to myself and true to the rest of the band and write what is going on at that point in time. And I guess 5 years between albums is a long time, and a lot happened in that time. And if we hadn't have matured or shifted, I mean, if we hadn't developed in 5 years, then I'd wonder why we're stunted. You know what I mean? I'd wonder why we're not growing. So yeah, I think it's a logical sort of a logical transition for us.
Yeah. And does that then, as you are a little older and wiser, if you will, and more mature, and have gone through that roller coaster of a personal journey, are there times then that you go like, I wish I didn't call it DEEZ NUTS, the band? Yeah. I mean, I mean it as a serious question, right? Like,
anytime I have to tell people the band name at 43 years old, I cringe. And anytime, like, honestly, man, like, and this is, I don't want to offend anybody who loves the band name, and because,
of course,
obviously, a band name just becomes like, it's, you know what I mean? Like, it's like it ceases to be those words, and it starts
100%, 100%.
But I honestly, like, nuts as a word for fucking, like, as a slang word for testicles is like one of my least favorite words ever. Like when I did the 2-song demo for this, I recorded everything on it. It was my first time doing vocals. I had no intention for it to go much further than MySpace and like a pressed demo that I did myself. It was supposed to just be for fun. It was like artistic release for me after playing drums in a metal band for ages, and I just wanted to do something completely different. If I'd had any intention for it to go on for 18 years and then some, it would have been called something else. But it's the chicken and the egg, man. If I'd known, like if we weren't called DEEZ NUTS, maybe we wouldn't have gotten the attention.
Right, 100%.
Spun into what it became. So you can't really play those sliding doors type games, you know?
You already mentioned, there were quite a few things that you had to deal with in the last few years, as eventually then this album comes to be. And Saudade, which I'm very likely mispronouncing, is a Portuguese term for it's a melancholic feeling, for longing, if you will, for a time that will never come back in a way. It's not a happy word by any means. I mean, maybe it can be. Was there, like at what point were you like, this word is exactly the identity of the album? When did that happen?
Well, it's like, for starters, like, let me sort of preface this by saying that by all accounts, there's no direct English translation that like does it justice.
Right.
Like, my my Portuguese friends can explain it to me within the confines of the English language, but our like languages are cool enough to explain it to its full potential. But
Right.
like pretty much what you summed it up as, like a deep and profound melancholic longing for something or someone that you have once loved and lost. And but it also, from what I'm told, it also has, it's within that, it's also like, it's not just sadness about these things. It's like, you're longing for them because they were great times in your life, and you're sad that you won't have them again, but you're glad that you had them. Like, it's
Right.
all of this like interwound within this word. And I've always like, one of the, I mean, I hate to say formula because I don't think our shit's like formulaic in that sense, but like, I usually look for a title track whilst writing. I'm like, oh, is this it? Is that the
Okay.
title track? And with this album, none of the songs, it wasn't because they weren't strong enough or whatever, but none of them, I was like, none of these titles, like all these titles work for these songs as they should, but none of these titles stands out to me as something that sums up the vibe of the album, which is a big thing for me. Like, I'm big on creating like an artistic piece of work that like, you can listen to start to finish and it all is cohesive and makes sense, and the artwork ties in with that and the title ties in. Like, I don't just like slapping shit together. I mean, as most people don't, but I'm just a bit obsessive about things, and like a bit of a perfectionist with certain shit. But anyway, I digress. Like, once I knew that I didn't have the title, I for the first time was thinking about, well, okay, maybe it's not a track, maybe it's a title for the album itself. And our bass player, his tattoo shop is actually called Saudade, and we were recording in Portugal. And then when I found out a little bit more about this word, I was like, man, this is all the things that I'm touching on this album in every way I could imagine, all summed up in this one fucking cool word. And I was like, would you mind if I use it? I know it's the name of your shop, but it's like, am I biting your style too hard? And he's like, no, it would be an honor for me to like, share the shop name like with the band and blah blah blah. And then it turned out, after we decided on the title, it was pointed out to me that a very close friend of everybody in the band, that we lost during the time between the last album and this one, our good friend Todd, also known as Louis Knox, he actually got Saudade tattooed on him when he was in Portugal many years ago, and I think I would have known that at the time, but I'd either forgotten it or tucked it away in my memory somewhere. And when that layer was added to it as well, it almost became even more of a poignant sort of
Yeah.
title for the album. But yeah, it just made sense, and like it's also a cool thing that I think to share that word with the. Not saying that I'm sharing it with the world, like it didn't exist before we used it, but at least for our fan base, I think there's a lot of people that are discovering the word through us, and I think it's a really fucking cool word, and I think Portugal's a really cool place. So yeah.
Lots of stuff that you say that you can go deeper into. We won't have time for everything because we only have a limited amount of time. But maybe the last thing that you just say is where you go like, well, maybe through our work, more people can discover this because you've got fans beyond Portugal. Although you have definitely Portuguese fans, and you said 18 years ago started this as just kind of like a hobby for my just a little fun little extra outlet for a MySpace project. This has grown into an international band in every sense of the word. DEEZ Nuts was a band that pretty early on, I would say, compared to other bands that have had the same length of career, if you will, with all obviously the help of today's world and the internet and all that kind of good stuff. You've had, I'm in Canada. I've been here for 13 years. Before that, I'm originally from Belgium. That's where I grew up. DEEZ Nuts was a well-known name in the hardcore community and the broader rock community in Belgium, right? Like, was it ever a surprise to you that that people connected with your music in so many different parts of the world, right? Like especially maybe because in the early days, it was all about, I mean, not all about, but it was more like the party band and whatnot, and it was a little bit more fun. Then now you're a lot more vulnerable and a lot more emotional. But in the end of the day, emotion and vulnerability connect really hard with people. People party in different ways in different parts of the world, very differently.
Yeah.
But somehow you were able to connect very easily with people everywhere. Was that almost like a bit of a shock when you first realized that? When, I mean, in the 18 years ago, you didn't have Spotify telling you how many monthly streamers you have in every country in the world. So you started to probably realize that by, orders and requests for shows and stuff like that. That must have been like a bit of an interesting moment for you.
I think because obviously the closest metric that we had then to like fucking streaming platforms and shit now that give you I think sometimes like it's almost like it's a blessing and a curse having so much data about something, because it also doesn't it doesn't reflect all things. Like there can be legacy bands that people know all of their catalog back to front, and if they come to town they're going to go sing every song from start to finish, but they might not be listening to them every day, so a monthly listener thing doesn't apply to certain bands. So there is there's things that it doesn't account for. But the closest thing we had to that kind of thing back then was MySpace plays, and so I was like, I kind of knew we were popping to a degree, and I could see that we were popping in different places. And then once we started to tour and shit, like you see it in the flesh. But I think like playing like Belgium, like Germany, like there was certain places in Europe in particular where we were playing festivals when we started to get those big summer festival runs, and we were getting like 5,000, sometimes tents that were 10,000 people, and the bulk of those people were singing along to these songs that weren't even available on CD in Europe.
Right.
They were only so people were stealing them or downloading them however they could get their hands on, which is fine by me. But when we went to, that's how we got signed to Century Media. They were side of stage watching us at one, I can't remember which festival, and we had every person in the crowd singing "Your Mother Should Have Swallowed You," and they were like, "Who the fuck is this band? Like, why are they not signed? Why are we not making money of this?" No, I don't know, but they were very impressed, and so we were we were late to the party. We were late to our own party. We didn't realize how much success we had in Europe until it was happening either, because we didn't have any kind of gauging that until we saw it in the flesh. And but it was that kind of time was super, super exciting for us. And I don't know how it translated so well, but all I can chalk it up to is the fact that, as I mentioned earlier, everything I've done, even if it's been tongue-in-cheek, fun, party anthems, whatever, it's always honest. Like it's always like, I might say some fucking wild shit that like I don't necessarily mean because it's tongue in cheek, but like you meet me after the show and you get the joke. Then like you understand that I'm not pretending to be a gangster or this thing or that thing or being a misogynist or this thing, like whatever like people kind of misinterpreted from the earlier shit. They got the joke that was DEEZ Nuts, and then I think like some people got it earlier, and those are the people that caught on straight away and were in for what it was, and some people it took them a little longer, and some people never got it, and some people fucking hate it, and that's just the way shit goes, But like I think the people that got on board early have kind of transitioned with us and also gotten fucking old with us, like, or older, like they got into it as younger people, we were playing it as younger people. As we've gotten fucking older and more, reflecting back on shit rather than talking about partying now, and I think other people kind of, it resonates with them too if they've been along the whole ride,
I see also that you're wearing a Raiders hat, and I happened to be at the home opener game a few weeks ago in their cool new Las Vegas stadium. I don't know if you've been to the stadium in Vegas yet, and caught a game there once. But a cool thing about it is that everything in Vegas makes no sense and is over the top, obviously, including their football stadium. But they did build in the middle of like the balconies, if you will. of like a massive stage from where they do their like halftime shows and whatnot. Given that you're wearing a Raiders hat, I could imagine that would be a cool venue for you to play, you know, during a football game. If not that, is there, now that you've played, maybe not all over the world, but a lot of places, you've played small shows, you've played big festivals, I've seen you at big festivals. What's as you call yourself an older person, like, does that mean that you also think about the things you still want to do? There's a bit of saudade there in that feeling. Is there the bucket list wish, you know, number one wish of venue or spot or place that you still want to play, you haven't been at?
No, I've never been one to have like a bucket list, just because, like, it's for the same reason that I try not to have too much. Like, I don't try and put too much pressure on anything in my life, or have too much of a built-up expectation, just because it leaves you vulnerable for being disappointed, you know what I mean? Whereas if you just kind of roll with the punches and hope for the best, you're just excited about everything that comes your way. So for that reason, I've never really had a bucket list per se. There's lots of places. I just want to go anywhere and play anywhere that I haven't played yet. Like, Dan's never played Japan. I would love to tour Japan. We've never been to South America. I would love to go to South America. I want to experience things I haven't experienced yet. I don't want to like be like, I'm gonna fucking die sad if I don't play Madison Square Garden, because I'm probably not gonna fucking play Madison Square Garden. So let's just like leave that off the bucket list and just try and go everywhere.
Yeah, all right. Well, next time you go to New York, just, you know, bring a microphone and walk into Madison Square Garden and just play in the lobby hall, and you can say like, "Hey, I played there." Exactly. Awesome. Well, JJ, thanks for your time today. I really do appreciate it. I know you can't wait to get back to your analytics and your numbers and see how all the, you know, the things are going, the pre-orders. But I do appreciate your time as we're running up to this new album coming out. I know it's an important one for you. And like I said in the beginning, you know, in a few years from now, we'll see if this is the start of a new era for the band, and what happens. Awesome, man. Well, thank you so much for your time. I hope to see you on a stage again soon. And yeah, we need to have you guys up here in Toronto.
I mean, can't wait to get back. Well, our drummer lives there, so we have no excuse. We're going to come.
Exactly.
You are awesome for watching this video. Click right here to see more content like it and subscribe to the channel.